Okay, thank you everyone for joining us today. It's now 1 o'clock, so we shall start our webinar. Hello, my name is Kerry. I'm the Assistant Principal for Higher Education and Adults at East Coast College. I'm joined today by my colleague Ben Grief, who is the course leader for the Foundation Degree in Environment and Sustainable Energy, and also the Honours Degree in Sustainable Futures. So I'm going to take you through a brief introduction to our higher education offer, and we'll then pass over to Ben for the main focus of today, which is of course to describe our environment and energy course. I will then come back after Ben to summarise some of our access to HE courses, which may be useful for some of our external participants today. And then finally, we'll take you through some questions at the end. So please feel free to use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen to add any questions you have, and we'll come to them at the end. So ECC, East Coast College, is a founding partner of the University of Suffolk, and as a college we have been running HE for more than 25 years. So we currently have around 30 courses on offer in total, and 400 HE learners enrol with us each year. So we not only offer degree courses, but also higher national certificates and diplomas, foundation degrees, and also higher and degree apprenticeships. So I'm sure there's something that we can find suitable for your progression. As a college, we're able to deliver our programs with small group sizes, meaning that you have excellent access to your specialist tutors. And just to say that our tutors are both academically, but also vocationally qualified. So you can ensure you get relevant course content delivery on our programs, and you also get excellent support for progression following a degree with us. Our current course offer is shown on the next two slides. There's too many for us to go through today, but of course Ben will be focusing on the environment and sustainable energy courses. So we add new courses year on year, so it's also worth sharing this information with any family, friends and colleagues too. We would also like you to know that we received a full confidence rating in our last QAA review. So this is our quality assurance body, and when they visited us, couldn't find any particular actions that we needed to improve on. So I hope that just assures to you that the academic standard and the student experience on our courses is very, very strong. The typical offer for the course that we'll be discussing with you today is 80 UCAS tariff points. However, if any of you are current East Coast College students, this tariff is actually lowered for you because we can ensure the quality of your level 3 delivery. And you'll also be guaranteed a place on the degree programme, providing you can meet that tariff. So please speak to your course tutors about this internal offer that's available to you. Our degrees allow you to access a student loan to cover your course fees like any other university. And of course, the college information team can help provide information and support on making an application if you do need to have that support. So thank you for listening to my introduction. I'm now going to hand over to Ben for the part you've been waiting for, and he's going to take us through his new and exciting course offer from September. So over to you, Ben.
Can I drive? Ah, right. Okay. Right. Hello, everyone. Yeah, I am the course leader for the Foundation Degree in Environment and Sustainable Energy. It is, I like to think, a very unique course, and it's multidisciplinary. The idea of it is to get you ready for a job in a variety of different workplaces. It's not limited to the environment, it's not limited to sustainable energy, and really the name actually possibly doesn't actually do it justice. It probably should have nature in front of it, because it is very focused upon lots of conservation and sustainability and energy crossover. It's got a wide interest in many areas. So if you're interested in climate change, you're interested in sustainability, you're interested in how people and the environment interact with each other, and the impacts that we have on the environment, and how we can hopefully fix, or at least start to reverse, some of the damage that we've done to the environment, then this may be of interest to you. And as I said, the employability is very broad spectrum with the modules that we study. So for example, you'll be studying things like British Wildlife and Climate Change, which is linking in the wildlife of this country specifically, but it won't ignore other countries. But I think that in a future that is hopefully sustainable, we need to concentrate on what's going on in our backyard rather than potentially going off overseas, although that is lovely, and I am guilty of that, and doing things overseas. We need to sort out our own backyard before we actually attempt to go and do things elsewhere, which is kind of the reverse to what has traditionally been done in conservation. Also, if you're interested in the whole sustainability and the human side of things, we also cover that. So there are modules involving investigating sustainability, and really many of the modules are actually down to your personal interest. So if you have an interest stream, that this course offers you the ability and the tools to explore that. So even if you're not really interested in the environment as such, but you're interested in humans, you can actually pursue that course of study if you want to. So there's a lot of crossover between science, obviously the biological sciences. If you have an interest in engineering but aren't necessarily an engineer or a mathematician, then this may actually be of use to you as well, because lots of the energy industry actually has employment that involves the environment. So for example, on lots of ships and on wind farms and things, they need people that are aware of environmental changes and also of species that may be interacting with the development. So there's that side of things. To work in the energy industry, you don't necessarily have to be an engineer. There are many roles that are open to you. Some of the practical skills that you will get from this, we have field work. So you will do traditional kind of conservation field work, and that will be provided through mainly the Otter Trust, but also we have partnerships with the RSPB and with Natural England and the Broads Authority and various others as well. So you'll get to do practical field work in, again, a variety of areas. It doesn't have to be specifically on, if you like plants, for example. I mean, our other course, our wildlife course, foundation degree, is much more animal oriented. This course allows you to study anything you want to, really. In terms of direct employability skills, you may see here on this slide that we've got GIS, which is Geographic Information Systems, and we have data analysis. Now, both of those things are highly sought after skills across sectors. If you just take a look at the kind of jobs that are coming up nowadays, it's hard to not see something that involves data analysis, database management, or GIS. So GIS is mapping. So you're probably aware on your phone, you've got Google Maps. So by doing a GIS module, you'll know how Google Maps works, and you'll also be able to make your own maps, and you'll be able to show things on those maps. You'll be able to display data, for example. Even if you don't like numbers, and I'm not the world's greatest fan of pure mathematics, but you do not actually really need to understand the mechanics or the deep maths of things to actually be able to be a good functional data analyst. You need to be able to know what to do with the data so you can show the patterns and the potential correlations that are happening within it. So I am very happy to guide people through data analysis and statistics in a hopefully friendly and fun, warm, loving way. It isn't as scary as it's made out to be. We also have collaborations with some NGOs, and one of our modules is NGO management. And you're probably thinking, what's an NGO? Well, that's anything like lots of wildlife trusts are NGOs. NGOs are often charities as well, but things like the World Wildlife Fund, I4, pretty much anything like that that you can think of is an NGO. And NGOs are, again, active across the board. There are specific environmental NGOs, there are climate change NGOs, there are human-based NGOs. any kind of subject you can think of probably has an NGO, and it just means non-governmental organisation. It means they don't get any money from the government to run, so they are reliant upon external funders. And within that, there are so many skill sets that you may not think, and you may already have, that you may not think are relevant for any kind of environmental conservation or energy sustainability type things. But marketing is a very important skill. You might not think it is, but it is. The ability to develop websites and do web content, add things to apps, stuff like that. Project management, engaging with the public. A very important thing within all of these things is stakeholder engagement. So the NGO module tries to introduce you to all of these sort of extra skill sets, if you like, that are transferable across industry. So really, it's a unique course that packages in lots and lots of what we call variety of subject matter, if you like, and tries to build it into a holistic picture, so you have lots of skills and lots of knowledge to take wherever you really want to go. And we are hoping, obviously COVID restrictions may jump into this even now, but we are hoping that we will be able to offer some form of overseas field trip. Now, where that actually ends up being, we're not entirely sure yet, but the Otter Trust that I've already mentioned, we do have a place in Gambia that is possible, but there's also potentially through one of the other lecturers on the course, another potential African destination of Ghana, but it's as yet undecided, and it will be decided in response to obviously global travel restrictions, and also in terms of where I and other members of the team think there would be a good place to go. So that's kind of fluid, but it is in the documentation, it says at the moment Gambia, and that is a fantastic place to go. We'd also hopefully be able to offer access to a rope access course and potentially a short sea survival course as well, which again are both transferable. Now you might think, okay, why do I need rope access for if I want to be a conservationist? Well, I can attest to the fact that if you want to access nests up trees or nests on cliffs or anything that involves animals that are in hard to reach places, rope access is very handy. It's also very handy from dangling from wind turbines and oil rigs and the sides of ships. And obviously, if you are at sea, sea survival is, well, you can't really go to sea in a commercial sense or a work sense without having done some form of sea survival. So we hope to get those skills as little bolt-ons as well to the course. So you should come out with lots and lots of information and lots of skills which will hopefully get you into a job. Alternatively, you could decide that you've liked it so much and you want to transfer and make it a full BSc and come on to our newly validated yesterday BSc top-up called Sustainable Futures, and that will build upon the skills and knowledge that you've gained in this course. So I'm very proud of it. Hopefully you can tell that I'm quite passionate about it. I'm also passionate about our other courses as well. But yes, I can't really think of anything else to say, Kerry.
That's fine, Ben. Thank you very much for that that introduction. That was fantastic, and I hope everyone who's listening will find it as interesting as Ben and I do. If you would like any further information on the course Ben's described, please feel free to get in touch with hereToHelp@eastcoast.ac.uk. We'll show that email address at the end of the slideshow. So thank you very much, Ben. So finally, while I have everyone's attention, I think it's important just to spend a couple of minutes letting you know that we also have access to higher education diploma programs at East Coast College as well. Now, access is another outstanding area within the college, and we do hold a beacon status with our awarding body for the provision, and that's based on the continued outstanding retention and success of our students. So the key strength for anyone listening is that our access students have excellent progression rates to higher education. So it can be considered as a foundation year for you to then progress onto a degree if you feel that's something you need to do, or you maybe don't quite have the UCAS points needed at this moment in time. So last year, for example, 90.5% of our students did progress to university, their first choice places. And our local universities have reported to us that over the last 4 years, 90% of our former access students have then gone on to gain good degrees. So that's a first class or a 2-1 degree. So as you can see on the screen, we do have a range of courses that can support you to progress to university. And they're all 1-year courses. So you can complete those in 1 year and then progress to your chosen degree. So the one that is probably most relevant to you on the screen at the moment, if you intend to progress the BENS course, but maybe need access beforehand, would be, I would suggest, the Life Sciences program. This is a science-based program that can teach you some of the core science concepts alongside getting you ready for HE progression. So we have a lot of HE study skills development on these courses while still studying a subject alongside. So just finally, again, in case there's anyone listening who's interested in wider progression routes, we will also be adding an Access to Medicine program from this September. Now, this program is only really suitable for anyone who wants to be a medical doctor, so a doctor of medicine. So this does have specific entry requirements, but you can find out more information if you contact the college. So thank you so much for listening to Ben and I today. We really hope that the information was useful to you. If you do have any questions or would like to chat about anything you've heard today, please just pop an email to here2help@East Coast after the webinar, and we can, of course, get back to you. However, if you've got any burning questions at the moment, please access the Q&A box at the bottom of your screen, and we'll go through those questions now. So I'll just open up the questions we've got so far, and feel free to jump in, Ben, if you want to. Question number 1, how do I apply for this course? Okay, so I think Ben and I would agree the best thing to do would be to apply through UCAS.
Yep.
Yeah, so the course is available on UCAS at the moment. Again, the college information team and support team can help you to set up a UCAS application, but all university courses are applied by UCAS. So thank you for that question. Next, we have a question about study areas. Are there any HE only study spaces on campus? So again, I would say yes, there are. We do have HE only study spaces on both our Lowestoft and Great Yarmouth campuses. So these are areas where you can go to get yourself away from the hustle and bustle of main college life, and there will be computer access in the study spaces and also quiet access in the study spaces. There are also tea, coffee, kind of kitchenette facilities for HE students as well. Okay, number 3. Do you have to go to University of Suffolk in Ipswich for this course at all?
No.
No. Ben's totally right. We do everything on site with us. So this course, Ben, am I right? This is Lowestoft campus.
This is Lowestoft base, as far as I'm aware. Yeah. And well, yeah. I mean, some of the courses are run on Yarmouth campus, and some are. There's not a huge distance between both of them. But no, you don't have to go to the University of Suffolk. In fact, you'll never have to go to the University of Suffolk. So. No,
if you don't want to, of course, you would still be a university student, so could do if you fancied a trip down to Ipswich Way. That would be totally fine. But all your teaching, all your resources, everything would be available on site with us at Great Yarmouth or Lowestoft in this case.
And we probably have some advantages, depending on your outlook, to the University of Suffolk or any university campus, really, because we have usually rather small cohorts of students. So that means that we can offer you much more individual, differentiated, personalised kind of teaching experience, teaching and learning experience than perhaps you would have if you went to, say, I don't know, a large university like University of East Anglia. In the first year, and I'm sure Kerry will agree that on many courses that you might be one of 200 people sitting in a lecture theatre with one person at the front, and you won't have any contact with that person beyond seeing them at a distance at the front of a lecture theatre. So it's much more, using a cliche, but like family, I suppose. We're small, and we ensure that we give you as much support as you need to progress. That's very important to all of us, that we make sure that we give you the best experience possible. So, but you can go to the university, obviously, and participate in the student union and all those other things that happen at university if you want to.
Yeah, and I totally agree with you, Ben. So it depends on what you're looking for. If you're looking to go away to a bigger university and have that bigger experience, that's absolutely fine. But it is something that we can offer you with a more personalised, smaller group, more supportive experience, which we feel is one of our strengths. Excellent.
But if you have turned up specifically to hear about the course that I was waffling on about a few minutes ago, you'll be hard pushed to find another one like it, because it is pretty unique at the moment, and that was one of the commendations it got in when it was validated. So
yeah, thank you for that point, Ben. Yeah, I think that's an important thing to say. It's a very unique provision. Okay, right, we have another question here. What are the entry requirements for this course? Okay, so we did have a slide in our presentation, and all of our courses do have standard UCAS entry requirements. For this course, it is 80 UCAS points. However, if you're an East Coast College student already, that will be at least one tariff grade lower than that for our internal students. Please also remember that for students who may be listening who are adult or who maybe don't have the UCAS points, please do still apply, because we can look at each application on an individual basis and have that discussion with you. So my advice would just be to, if you're interested, contact Here to Help for more information, or make an application, and we'd be more than happy to discuss individual circumstances.
yeah, I'd add to that, that is something that we kind of specialize in as well, if you like. We have a lot of applicants who are either mature, and if they've been doing something completely different for a long time and they suddenly decide they want to change, and so yeah, please do apply. We are quite used to having developing people from sort of backgrounds where they think they may not be capable. Okay, and I think a lot of people have a fear of university and of sort of the whole academia kind side of things. It is a bit of a steep learning curve to start with if you haven't been in it, but we are very well suited to getting people from that and getting over those initial lumps, and hopefully guiding you on your way to success, and revealing that it's not actually as complicated as it's made out to be all the time.
Yeah, that's a great point as well. Thanks, Ben. Okay, so next question, when is the deadline to apply? Okay, well, UCAS is open, and it will be open all the way through into clearing, right through into about October time. So even though our courses start in September, you could still potentially apply through to October. That would be a little bit late in our view. We would like you to apply as early as possible. But yeah, applications are open and live at the moment. So if you're interested, feel free to make an application.
Yeah, it is better for you. I mean, we did have this year on one of our courses, and I'm sure there was other courses in the college that have had this as well. But we had a couple of people starting 2 or 3 weeks after the beginning, which is doable. But those 2 or 3 weeks at the start are very important, because we go over an awful lot of foundation stuff, and we don't really necessarily have time to go over that again. So it's important to start at the start, really. Start as you mean to go on. Otherwise, you might be playing catch up. But you've got plenty of time.
Yeah, you've still got plenty of time to apply, but the earlier the better. At least then you'll know you'll have your guaranteed spot. We also do run a college-wide induction program, which is on offer to all students after they've accepted their places before they start the program, which helps to prepare you for the courses as well. So the earlier you do that, the more you benefit. Okay, is this course full-time? Yes, it is. It is described. Yeah, it is described as being a full-time HE program, but if Ben talks about the attendance pattern, you'll see that you're not on site all of the time.
No, what we generally do is, yes, it is full-time in terms of the time, but we try and put it into 2 days a week. Sometimes 3, depending on if we're using external providers, but yeah, so it will be 2 full-on days from sort of 9 till, you can get, well, that's probably 9 till 4, but it's a full-on day, but you do get that all packed in, so enabling you then to obviously have a life as well and or work, and most of our students, in fact, yeah, most of our students, no, all of our current students actually have all got a job of some kind, and some also have families and juggle them as well, and it is doable. So yes, it is full-time, but it's not full-time. So yeah. And I think that perhaps if you're not familiar with the university kind of going to university, if you like, you could on a Monday, it will be full-time, but you could have maybe a lecture on a Monday morning, nothing for the rest of the day, a full day on a Tuesday, half a day on a Wednesday, afternoon on a Thursday, and then one in the middle on a Friday. So it's staggered like that. So what we do is just cram it all, well, not cram it, but we put it into 2 full days, which seems to work for all our students. And I think if I was doing it, I would prefer that as well. I think it's nice to get it all in one point and done. So yes, full-time, but no full-time.
Thanks, Ben. And just to complement what Ben's saying, it also runs to normal standard school holiday dates. So for any parents out there who are interested in coming and accessing the programme, you will have all of the half terms, Christmas, Easter holidays off, as you would expect the schools to. So that's how we timetable.
And don't think you're too old. We currently have a 66-year-old. And the oldest student I've ever had was 68. And her name is Maureen, and is in a different place. And she was completely convinced she couldn't do anything, but she actually finished with a first class degree, and she actually got a job in wildlife. So there you go. It's doable.
Yeah, that's a very good message. Thanks, Ben. Okay, next question. I am currently an East Coast College student. I saw an email about the progression agreement. Is this course included in that? Very simply, yes, it is. Yes, so if you're a current East Coast College student on a level 3 program with us, you will benefit from the progression agreement. And again, as we said in the presentation, that means that your tariff point expectation will be lower than what is publicised externally to external people. You'll have a guaranteed place on the course providing you can meet that tariff, and you will also have support from the university and the college in any way to help you to make sure you're confident and ready for HE progression. So yeah, please contact your course tutor about that if you want any more information, or feel free to reach out to Here to Help at East Coast, and I can easily send the details to you. Okay, and finally, I think this is our last question, Ben. Would we have access to use other college facilities whilst being a university student? So I would say yes, you have full access to everything the college has on offer. You just have the additional advantage of also having the HE only study areas. But yeah, you can use any of the college facilities at all. So I hope that helps answer that. Okay, so that does bring us to the end of all of the questions that we've had come through on the Q&A function. So just remember, if you've got any questions you don't want to ask now but want to ask individually, just contact Here to Help, and we will get back to you within a matter of days to start those conversations with you. So I'd like to say again, thank you very much, Ben, for attending this webinar. Thank you to Sophie for setting up and arranging all of the details of today. And thank you ever so much, everyone who's been a participant with us. Thank you very much for listening. This webinar has been recorded and will go out live through social media channels. So if you wish to forward the webinar on to any of your friends, family, colleagues. That will be available very, very soon.